Hello and welcome back to Hoopsa. I'm very pleased to be joined today for a chat with Queen's Park Rangers centre-back Liam Morrison. Hi Liam, how are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How was training today?
Yeah, it's nice weather out here today, so it's a nice day.
Great, good stuff. Well, your first season as a QPR player is drawing to an end. How have you found this campaign overall? And what's been your biggest highlight so far in blue and white hoops?
Uh, I think for me personally, it's been a bit of a frustrating one because I came into the team after an injury and was doing pretty well. To get injured again is just it's just bad luck, but bad timing. But it's been a good season for me personally as well. Obviously, made my debut in the championship, my first game for QPR. So ultimately, I can say it's been a positive for myself, but we all know there's things still to be worked on.
Now, you grew up playing for both Glasgow Rangers and Celtic. What was it like developing in the academies of the two biggest teams in Scotland, and how did the two differ?
I mean, I was at Rangers at a very young age. It was really good. Surprisingly, it was the only team that wanted me. So I kind of, if I wanted to be a footballer, I kind of had to take the risk and go for it. Um, but I was good at Rangers. But obviously, being a Celtic fan, the dream always was to go to Celtic. And when they offered to come in for me, it was a no-brainer, and it was just like a dream come true as a little kid playing for the club he loved. And it was great developing there. I managed to be involved with the first team at quite a young age, playing with kind of my heroes as well. So it was really good for my development, definitely.
Did you always want to be a centre back? How old were you when you started playing in that position?
I was a striker, kind of slash centre mid until I was about 11 or 12, and then I got told I was a bit too tall for that. I had to get myself back, but thank God they told me to go back, or I maybe wouldn't have had a career in football.
Now, your progress as a teenager attracted interest from clubs across Europe. You signed for Bayern Munich in 2019 at just 16 years old. What was it like moving to a completely new country as a teenager? How different did you find it playing out in Germany? And how much German can you speak?
Uh, right now, not too much, but if I was to go back for a couple of months, I'd pick it up pretty easily. But no, I loved it out there. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and when they kind of first showed their interest in me, I just couldn't believe it. So it was a no-brainer. It was hard to leave Celtic, but when that kind of opportunity comes along, it's hard to say no. But it was also tough at the same time being away from my family and my friends at 16 years old, a different language, different culture. So it had its ups and downs, but I definitely would. I don't regret it.
Now, your under 17s coach at Bayern was none other than Miroslav Klose. What was it like learning from Germany's all time top goal scorer on a day to day basis?
It was perfect for me because he was obviously a striker, and I'm up against strikers week in week out. So he would give me tips that to do stuff the strikers hate and what kind of movements they make. But obviously, he's just such a big name in football, so his experience in the game was the education of him was invaluable.
Now, last season, you got your first experience of playing in England on loan at Wigan Athletic in League One. How did you find playing regular first team football for the first time, and of course in England for the first time?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable actually. It was good. I was involved a little bit with the Bayern first team and training and stuff, but to be in a team where you're playing week in, week out, and there's pressure on to win games, and that's why you want to be a footballer for. That's the experience you want. And as I said, it was really good being in a competitive environment with first team players and learning off them.
You obviously went on to sign for QPR on the 5th of July 2024. How did that move come about, and what ultimately convinced you to sign for Queen's Park Rangers?
Well, it was just Christian, obviously, and the gaffer just spoke to my agent about obviously signing here, and I spoke with them a few times, and I was convinced by the plan and the direction the club was going in, and the way the style of play suited me to a T, playing out from the back. So I think for me to progress my career, I thought it was a no-brainer to come and join this massive club.
Now, you made your QPR debut in a 2-1 win over Cambridge in the Carabao Cup last August, and then your first championship start would follow in a 1-0 draw against Stoke City. What were those experiences like, and how have you found the step up from League One to the Championship?
I think it's obviously a little bit more difficult, but I feel as if I've took to it well. It's just you're obviously playing with better players against better players, and it's a tough league. But I was always confident I would be able to come in and make a difference and show what I can do. So it's the first couple of games were really good. Obviously, as I said, I had the injury in between that didn't help much, but once I came back into the team, it was a lot more enjoyable staying away from injuries.
Yeah, I mean, you coming into the side against Stoke sort of really coincided with QPR turning the corner after quite a difficult start to the season. How challenging was that coming into a team where maybe the confidence isn't as high? Obviously, it's your first chance to sort of real make a mark on the team.
Yeah, there's always going to be different types of pressure, and it was just I think everyone knew in the team that once it clicked, we would start picking up results and playing better football, and it did. It was just good timing that it did when I came into the team, and I think we went on a really good run when I came in as well, and it kind of clawed us back up the table. But we were all confident that we would turn it around. We didn't believe that we were going to stay down in the table for too long. We knew it would click it eventually, as I said, and it did. It did.
Yeah, I mean, you coming into the team, Rangers went 7 unbeaten until that knee injury that you've mentioned ruled you out for another 2 months. You've talked about the frustration there. Well, how difficult is it sort of from a mental perspective, keeping yourself motivated and focused during that period on the sidelines?
It's the times you remember the 7 games I did play, the feeling I had when I was playing that drives you to come back from injury again as soon as possible. That's the type of things that push you during your rehab. And luckily, both my rehabs, to be fair, went swimmingly well. There was no other issues from them. So uh, I came back again, back into the team, and I felt as good as I did before the injury. So uh, it's just you always want to be on the pitch as much as you possibly can. These things happen in football. It's part of the game. So you just need to learn to get on with it.
You've now returned to the starting 11. You've very much picked up where you left off. In fact, QPR were unbeaten in your first 13 starts for the club this season. Is that a record that you're aware of?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of it, but it doesn't really matter now because we lost that one game. But I was hoping we could continue on for the rest of the season. But as I said, that's part and parcel of football. These things happen. You just need to pick up and go again.
Now, I wanted to ask about the squad itself now. How close are the squad as a unit, and are you close with any players in particular?
Obviously, I'm close with Harrison, Ashby, Ronnie, and obviously Caddy because I played with him for so many years at Celtic, so we have that kind of relationship from a young age. But it's a really good squad. Actually, it's everyone gets along pretty well. Everyone's very helpful. It's a good squad, and I think you can see that on the pitch. We do we do fight for each other a lot, and that's what a good dressing room does.
Now, you've had a few narrow misses in the opposition box this season. You spoke about starting off as a striker. Are you someone that wants to get amongst the goals? Do you reckon you can get your first in before the end of the season?
Desperate to get a goal. I think the one at Watford away will haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know what I was thinking that game, but definitely something I want to get before the season ends.
Now, I wanted to round off by asking you what your ambitions are for next season, both for QPR and yourself personally.
I think now that it's set that we're safe in the championship, I think next season we need to kick on. We need to finish higher up the table and be more competitive. I think everyone has the same goal and the same view that this season maybe wasn't as good as it should have been. But definitely next season we need to kick on and get further up the table. And for me personally, I just want to play as much games as I possibly can. I don't want to. I know football injuries is part of it, but hopefully to stay fit and healthy for the majority of the season will be a good one for me.
Well, Liam, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you very much for your time and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.